Rain pressed the city into a blur of silver streaks, and on a bench outside a dim cafe, a woman sat folded into herself as if the world had finally grown too heavy to carry. Her hands trembled around an empty cup, her shoulders bowed under years of quiet loss, and tears slipped down without sound, the kind that come when hope has been postponed too many times. She had come to this place to be unseen, to let the evening swallow her grief. But fate had a gentler interruption waiting, one shaped like two small shadows with matching shoes and curious eyes, and a moment that would change more than just one broken heart. If you believe that kindness still exists in unexpected places, and that second chances arrive when we least deserve them, please take a moment right now to like this video. Share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel KH Stories, because stories like this grow stronger when they are carried together. The woman's name was Mara, and loneliness had become her daily companion. She had lost her husband to a sudden illness 2 winters earlier, then her job when the company downsized, and finally the apartment that had once held laughter and plans. She told herself she was strong, that grief was something to be endured quietly, but the truth was that each day required a courage she was running out of. That evening, she had come to the cafe bench after a long walk of unanswered applications and polite rejections, her chest aching with the fear that tomorrow would look exactly like today. The city moved around her without noticing, umbrellas passing like strangers' thoughts, until 2 children stopped in front of her, their presence gentle and strangely steady, as if they belonged exactly where they stood. The twins were small, no older than 6, with the same careful seriousness in their faces and the same kindness resting in their eyes. They did not ask questions the way adults do, searching for explanations or reasons. They sensed sadness the way birds sense weather. They sat beside her, their feet swinging above the wet pavement, and in their simple way, they offered what they believed could fix the broken thing they saw. They had a father who read them stories every night, who carried snacks in his pockets, who made space feel safe, and to them it seemed obvious that safety could be shared. In that instant, without speeches or conditions, they decided that comfort was not something to be owned, but something to be borrowed when needed most. Mara tried to smile, embarrassed by her tears, but something in the twins' calm certainty broke through her defenses. The idea they placed before her was so innocent that it felt holy. Borrowing a dad was not about replacing what was lost, but about remembering what warmth felt like. She followed them inside the cafe, where their father waited at a corner table, tired eyes softening as he took in the scene before him. He was a widower too, though the word was not written on his face so much as carved into the way he listened, into the way he made room for silence. His name was Daniel, and life had taught him that grief could either close the heart or expand it, depending on what one chose to do with the pain. The three of them shared a table, not as strangers, but as people briefly aligned by need and empathy. Daniel did not ask Mara to explain herself. He offered her warmth in the form of coffee and attention in the form of patience. The twins leaned against him, grounding the moment, and for the first time in months, Mara felt her breathing slow. She spoke about the small things she had been carrying alone, about fear and exhaustion and the shame of needing help. Daniel listened without trying to fix her, understanding that sometimes being heard is the beginning of healing. Days passed, and that brief encounter became a thread woven into Mara's routine. She met them again, then again, small meetings that turned into shared meals and long walks. The twins filled the air with life, and Daniel's steady presence reminded her that loss did not erase the possibility of connection. Mara found work at a local bookstore, modest but honest, and each evening she returned tired yet lighter, knowing she would not be alone with her thoughts. The challenge was not that life suddenly became easy, but that it demanded trust, and trusting after loss felt like stepping onto ice that might crack. There were setbacks. Old memories surfaced, guilt whispered that happiness was a betrayal of the past, and fear warned her not to depend on kindness that could disappear. Daniel faced his own doubts, wondering if opening his home to someone else's pain would reopen wounds he had carefully stitched closed for his children's sake. Yet the twins, in their wordless wisdom, kept choosing joy. They kept choosing togetherness. In their world, love multiplied when shared, and adults slowly learned to see through their eyes. As seasons changed, something fragile and real took shape. It was not a replacement for what was lost, but a continuation, a new chapter written with care. Mara began to laugh again, not out of politeness, but because joy surprised her. Daniel found that his home felt warmer, not crowded. The twins gained another person to cheer for them, another hand to hold when the night felt long. Healing did not arrive like a miracle. It arrived like a habit, built through ordinary days and small choices to stay open. If this story is touching your heart right now, if it reminds you of someone you lost or someone you found along the way, please take a moment to engage with this video by liking it and sharing it, because your support helps these stories reach people who need them most. As the first anniversary of that rainy evening approached, Mara sat on the same cafe bench, this time with the twins pressed close and Daniel standing nearby, the city still loud but no longer overwhelming. She realized that the greatest gift she had received was not borrowed at all. It was the reminder that even in the loneliest moments, the world can lean in with unexpected compassion. Pain had not vanished, but it had been softened by connection, shaped into something that no longer defined her. Before the story ends, please comment below one word that this journey made you feel, whether it is hope, warmth, or faith, and let others see they are not alone. Mara looked at the life around her and understood that kindness is a quiet force, often carried by small hands and brave hearts. And sometimes, when tears fall unnoticed on a rainy